God. Come and learn about Him. Here's the Bible with Pastor Adam.
Wow, it's nice out there. But we have some reading to do, guys. Welcome back. Welcome back to the Bible with Pastor Adam. You may remember we have finally finished the first book of the Bible, Genesis. So, Exodus is up next. We're in Exodus chapter 1 and 2 today. We are still learning about the history of God's people, the Jews. So, we're going to be reading about the beginning of a very important person in Jewish history and in the Bible today, and that person is Moses. So, here we go. Exodus chapter 1 and 2. Listen carefully. Here we go. For 200 years after Joseph died, the Israelites lived well in Egypt. They were called Hebrews by the people of Egypt because they had come from another land. Then a new king who did not know about Joseph came into power in Egypt. Remember, a king in Egypt back then was known as a pharaoh. So a new pharaoh came into power, and this new pharaoh didn't know about Joseph and the people. And he thought that there were too many Hebrews, too many Jews. He was afraid that they would take over his country. So he did something drastic. He took away their freedom and all the riches that they had, and he made them work as slaves. If you're a slave and you're made to work as a slave, you're owned by someone and you're forced to work for no money or nothing at all. And in this circumstance, he was very cruel to these people, to the Hebrews. He gave them the worst jobs and the hardest jobs and the most physically intense jobs, and he made them work all day, every day. And he had people called slave drivers whipping them and just being really harsh on them. So because of his fear that they would rise up and take over his country, he made them work as slaves. He took away their freedoms that they had under Joseph. Their lives were hard, but still the number of the Hebrews grew. The king gave another terrible order. All Hebrew baby boys were to be put to death. But a Hebrew woman named Jochebed had just given birth to a new baby boy. She hid her baby boy to keep him safe. Her daughter Miriam and son Aaron kept her secret. But the baby got too big to hide. So she placed him in a basket and set the basket in the river Nile, one of the biggest rivers in the whole world. And the basket floated like a boat down the river. And Miriam, the daughter, followed it on shore to see where it would go. The king's daughter was bathing in the river. The Pharaoh's daughter was bathing in the river. And she saw the basket, and the baby inside was crying. The princess knew it was a Hebrew baby, but she felt very sorry for him. I'm guessing she didn't agree with her dad's orders to kill all the baby boys of the Hebrews. So she felt sorry for this baby she saw in the basket. Miriam saw what had happened. She told the princess she would get a Hebrew woman to nurse the baby. The woman she got was her mother, the baby's mother. When the boy got older, Jochebed, the baby's mother, took him back to Pharaoh's daughter, and he became her son. She adopted him. The Pharaoh's daughter adopted this baby boy because he would be safe with her rather than with his real mother. So she adopted him, he became her son, and she named him Moses. And that's the beginning of the story of Moses and the beginning of a significant event in the Bible of the people being led out of Egypt, out of this harsh life that they're living now. Remember, for a long time they lived really well. They lived really well under Joseph and under the previous Pharaoh, and they had riches and freedoms that they would now lose under this new Pharaoh. So in comes this new person, Moses, this baby Moses. This person is going to be the person that leads them out of slavery and out of oppression from Egypt. And there's going to be a long history that follows that. But you have to start somewhere. Exodus is where we start, with the people leaving Egypt. Exodus means to leave, to exit. So, join me next week. Remember Moses. Remember the story of when he was a baby. Get outside. It's nice. See you next week, guys.